Hello and welcome to the So Far So Rare podcast. This week I was joined by Fiago, who is a YouTuber. He has a great channel which makes lots of content about football, NFTs, and we talked about exactly that. NFTs and football. We talked about that for a bit. Then we obviously went into the community update on SoRare that's inbound on Tuesday over on their YouTube channel. And we also talked about the Messi Unique auction, the Kimmich Unique auction, and talked about loads of your questions. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please do like the video below and subscribe to the 1:37 p.m. channel. You can also find me and my SoRare content if you look up John Ellis. Hope you enjoy it. Fiago, welcome to the So Far So Rare podcast. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. You've been making lots of SoRare content recently. You come into the space, you've brought the shocked faces with you, as we're all doing these days. And you're big into football NFTs in general, so I'm excited to talk to you. I have it here that you joined SoRare on the 25th of February last year, so it's safe to call you a boomer. Do you want to just introduce yourself to people and let them have an idea of where you're at with SoRare or how you found it?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me first, mate. Very, very glad to be able to chat here. And yeah, you said 25th of February. I wasn't really sure about that myself, actually, but I know it was like February, March 2021.
Mm,
Yeah, so I'm Fiago, 20 years old. Yeah, maybe people would call me football influencer, maybe. I don't really like that word, but that's basically what I might be. Yeah, I've been doing Instagram for like 6 years now, football with a football account, and started YouTube 2 years ago. So now I'm pretty much a YouTuber, Instagram, Twitter, and I talk about football. And lately, I've been getting into the NFT space in football. Just like
mm.
SoRare was my first NFT project 1 year ago, and yeah, you said I'm a boomer, so you probably talk. I didn't know that term actually, but it's probably because yeah,
Yeah,
you mean
not
the
that.
first real hype of SoRare there in that period.
Yeah, it's I just call people who joined during the Gary V boom a boomer.
You actually called
That's
it Gary V boom. Okay, that's interesting because Gary V was
yeah,
actually also the one who got me into SoRare, or
yeah,
who where I saw. I think he bought I think it was Joao Felix Unique. He bought that one. I
yeah,
think he posted about that one, and that's
yeah.
when I really saw. Oh my God, Gary! I've been following him for a while, and I was like, what does he have to do with football
Mm,
suddenly? And then I really done some research and got into the game. So yeah, it was that time, but actually I wouldn't really say I started back then. I put in like, I don't know, 1,000 quid and bought a few random rare players. Didn't even know what I was doing back then. Literally, I didn't play any SO5. I think I forgot to send in my teams every week, basically. Um,
mm,
I also, a few months after, like summer came, season ended, so prices went down, and I kind of lost interest. I wasn't really playing seriously over the summer. I
mm.
didn't really play. It was actually only September, October 2021 then when the new season started, when I really got into SoRare and I really made up my mind what this is all about. And so first video for SoRare video of my channel was in November. And since then, I would say October, November, I've really, really been in this space actively, and then
Yeah.
also like like checking my SoRare club every single day and getting more and more informed about the game and
Mm.
getting educated. And yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it absolutely.
I think the summer is a funny one because obviously there's been so many people have signed up since last summer, but if you don't transition into Asian or American cards, it can be really, really slow. And even last summer we had the Euros to kind of circumvent or sort of
Uh-huh.
to ease that boredom. But now, I mean, this is going to be a long couple of months for some people who live and breathe this every day. Transfer
Absolutely.
window will be about all that's happening. So it'll be interested to see how the engagement goes. I wonder will Asia and America be enough? But yeah, I suppose just a quick question I have for you. How did you get into making content? I mean, particularly YouTube. I love your vlogs, and you go around football stadiums. How'd you get into that? Because I mean, I imagine you're only 20 years old. I mean, Instagram and stuff like that sort of second nature. You have a huge Instagram account. You were probably plugging away there for a while, but the transition into YouTube and getting around, like, how'd you find that, or was it YouTube first, Instagram second? Have I got it wrong?
No, it was actually Instagram first in October 2015 when I was 14 years old. So I had like a Instagram theme page. I started by making football memes. Literally, it was super silly. I was in like eighth grade and I was just bored and I made an account. And from there, I didn't really expect it to become anything big. To be quite honest, just randomly made that account. and started posting my memes and my. I didn't show myself, obviously, just make
Yeah.
some graphics around football. Then slowly, it got more serious. I started transitioning into more like informational, educational football posts, giving my own opinion as well, and like giving my opinion on transfer moves and or on games, on big games.
Mm.
And first time I've actually been showing myself, it was, I think, start of 2020 or end
Mm.
the end of 2019. And from there, I've actually started to also make some videos on YouTube. I really started in summer, I think August 2020, with by like making the videos that I'm doing right now. Not really in
Mm.
that form, but I would say like, yeah. And summer 2020 was basically where I turned everything around. I started showing myself on the Instagram, on all the socials, and and the vlogs, actually, I haven't been doing them for so long. Actually, my first vlog was in January of this year, so not really
Oh yeah.
long. Yeah, I haven't done many vlogs, but this year I've already done a lot. But before I didn't do any. So this is a kind of new thing that I'm starting to integrate into my channel. Also, thanks to SoRare, by the way. They've already sent me to some games.
Mm.
Same goes for you, I guess. I've seen some very, very nice vlogs as well. Yeah, this is also a part of why I love this NFT space. There's so many opportunities for football fans, and yeah, the vlogs. I don't know about you, but this is actually probably my favorite thing to do is going around Europe or the world
Mm.
and touring for Europe and going to football stadiums. And even better when you have players playing in your SoRare teams.
Yeah, I think that engagement's only ramped up when it's in person, and I think the beauty that's so rare. Like, I wouldn't have found it hard, but I would have maybe found it strange personally. Now I don't know. It's different if you're going with friends or you have friends in different cities, but I wouldn't have took it upon myself to fly to Barcelona on my own with a cameraman or alone and vlog me going to a game and then going back to a hotel and being on my Todd for the night.
Hmm.
I wouldn't really find that exciting. But what I love is the fact that when I went to Barcelona, we met a couple of guys. When I went to Manchester, there were loads of people there with beers and pizza. When I went over to Calp with Quinny and Hendo and that, there were guys there. And now the next one I'm looking at, you Instagram or no, what is this? This is a podcast exclusive. It's kind of coming to fruition. America at
Wow.
the end of April is looking like it could happen. Maybe going to an Orlando game, and I'm going to be interviewing someone very, very, very exciting. I think you'll like it, Fiago. I'm not going to say anything yet. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Ellie, let me know if I'm allowed to. I don't think I can. It's too early. I can't say anything. Anyway, yeah. So I think having that base of people from all over the world who are into football, who can show you cities, who want to go to games with you, it's amazing, and it's really motivating me to try and get to as many games as possible this year. And I'm sure if you put out a tweet or an Instagram post saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to be in Milan," you would get people who like want to meet you for a beer, bring you out, show you restaurants, tell you where to go, show you the good places to go, and it just makes traveling that much easier. Have you met
100.
anyone this year? Or are
You
you
mean
going with
like randomly?
friends?
I
Yeah,
have
or like
actually
from your accounts or anything, or is it just friends you're going with?
I have met quite a few people, yeah. Also through SoRare. And yeah, also like other people who are who are football Instagram space. I've gone to some games with them as well. And
Mm.
actually also randomly I was in Milan with a homie in January watching the Supercoppa Italiana, Juventus against Inter. And I actually met some Italian people from my community randomly in a McDonald's, which was super, super
Oh,
cool.
cool.
And we were like, yeah, just chatting about football a little bit. So yeah, you're completely right there. Actually, this is such a big community, um, and meeting those people from social media actually in real life, this is
Mm.
actually sick.
Yeah, it's good fun. I'll ask you then just how you transitioned from the general football into NFTs. Like, did you have a passion for crypto? Did NFTs catch your eye? And then you thought, okay, well, I like football, so let's see if there's football NFTs. And you found SoRare. Did
Yeah,
SoRare initially approach you? Like, how did it come about? You say SoRare was your first football NFT. There's
yeah.
other ones we're going to talk about. I actually don't even know who, but I just want to ask you about other platforms you're into. But
Hmm.
how did that come about, the relationship with NFTs? Because I see even it's on like the top of your YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
So it's a big part of your brand.
100%, absolutely. But the funny thing is that actually I haven't had any connection to, like, barely any connection to crypto or NFTs actually before Sora uh, stepped into my life. Actually, as I said, I got to know Sora in February, March last year, and that was actually when I started to get into NFTs and crypto as a whole. Before I
Mm.
knew there was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, but I didn't really. I didn't really do anything in that space. I just watched a little bit, but no real interest for it. And this actually sparked my interest, and it also came at a time where I have to say, last year we had in April we had that Super League drama and all that stuff in football, and which was just the top of the iceberg for me. I have to say that in the last years, to be honest with you, my I love football completely, but my passion for the game it didn't really grow. I have to say, I felt like with all these scandals, corruption stuff in FIFA and all those associations, I felt like football drifted more and more away from the fans and from myself as well. I didn't really feel as much emotionally attached to the game as I was before, and that's actually where SoRare and other NFT projects in football. I've said this on multiple podcasts, I think. They filled this void, actually, bringing the fans closer to the game and making them like getting them more involved, which just creates a completely new I don't know, perspective to look at the game. And you get me? Does that make sense? I'm not just talking bullshit.
No,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I think it's like I want to talk about other projects as well, because like something that I've been so bullish about with SoRare, and I don't know if you're the same, is I enjoy winning cards. I enjoy winning Ethereum, and I know a lot of people who listen to me every week talking about this don't really care about the stuff I care about. But that's why there's loads of different ways to play the game. But like the thought of, like, remember they did the El Clasico trip, they did the Sevilla Amberes trip, like where you get behind the scenes access and this and that. I think I just want to see, as they get more and more licensing deals over the course of the next months and years, I want to see, and as they renew old licenses, I want to see access. I want to see memorabilia. I want to see experiences, because I love that side of it, and I think I love that. That is what NFTs can bring to football fandom. A lot of people don't care about that. A lot of people wouldn't really want to go and meet Lionel Messi, because what are you going to say to the guy? Do you know, you're going to shake his hand and get a wee photo, and like some people just don't care about that. I get that. I think when you make content, maybe you care a little bit more. But to take away from SoRare for a bit, and then there's a few massive things we need to talk about this week. Like, we are going to talk about the uniques that are out there now. We're going to talk about the community update and what we imagine. Lots of great questions. There's a few players in your gallery I want to ask you about, because you've got multiples. But first, are there other football NFT projects you like or are particularly bullish on? Is there one that stands out to you?
Yeah, there is actually, and that also fits to your point you just mentioned about access to the game and memorabilia and experiences. I just want to say something about that first. I would totally love that as well. Like, if there were like special weeklies where you can win like not cards or rewards, but just like you could win tickets, where you could win signed jerseys or something on SoRare. By the way, just a thought I had. This would be insane for me as well. And connected to this, there is a project. There's a project called Ludo Labs. You might know that as well.
Yeah, I have a couple.
You have a couple as well. Cool. That's like they have like 10 footballers, I think, licensed so far, but there's more coming soon, I guess. And so you basically buy a football, like you mint an NFT, and you get one of these footballers in different like there's different rarities, different outfits that they're wearing, and this gets you access to an inner circle community, as you know, probably, as you are also in it, but then, and where you can like win signed jerseys, win tickets. I've been to the Supercoppa Italiana. That was through Ludo Labs, where we went to Milano to tickets. We got the tickets of Edin Dzeko, actually, of his family, which was completely insane. And this is what I love, and I also would love SoRare to integrate parts of that, maybe getting these special experiences that, for example, you can get through Ludo Labs. Winning these as rewards, as you said, maybe there would be some people that don't care about them, but what kind of people would these be? People who just play SoRare for the sheer profits, I guess, and are not even football fans. But every football fan would love to go to these big games, I guess, or meet the players. And that's why I love Ludo Labs as well. We were on a Twitter Spaces where I interviewed Miralem Pjanic the other month, which was great. And these experiences that you will never get as a normal fan. I love that as well. So yeah, that's Ludo Labs. I've absolutely recommend that as well.
What I like about Ludo Labs, I've talked about for months and months and months on this podcast about that access and about the utility and all this. I've actually spoke to Patrice Evra on a Twitter Spaces and made a joke with him and had a laugh. Cool. Yeah. And I asked him a question about things he could see himself doing with fans of the future, And it's me sitting talking to Patrice Evra, who I went and seen in Old Trafford a few times over the years when I was a kid. You know, I'm pretty sure
Mental.
he would have been around the squad the first time I ever went to a game, and it's like it's crazy to think back on, or to think that that's the thing that gets me about Ludo Labs is, as you said, you're getting Jekyll's family's tickets. There's this level of a relationship between Ludo Labs and the players. I think the difference with SoRare is it all seems very commercial. And whenever you have that type of access, it's great. But there's a lot of like red tape and barriers, and you get certain people who you have access for 8 minutes with the player, and you can ask them this. But Ludo Labs feels very like they have a genuine relationship with the players, and the access they're
Exactly.
given or granted as of the player's interest, because the player is invested in the NFT and wants it to succeed, so they want to give back. And like, you know, I think that adds an extra layer of access, and that's what I like about Ludo Labs. Again, I think the interesting thing for them is where they go from those 10 Genesis players,
Mm-hmm.
who there's a few huge ones like Dybala, who's your favorite player. Patrice Evra's obviously a big name. Dahoud's playing great football over at Dortmund. Or I don't know if you'd agree, great football, but he's starting for Dortmund and playing in and out. You know, there are big players there, but I think the next wave of players that they inevitably get, if they can get a couple of A-list names, they change the game. I think.
100%. 100%, yeah. Yeah, as you said, this like you feel like it's a familiar, like it's a family. It's not just the players have a deal with Ludo Labs. I mean, they do, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like they handpick their players wisely, and only players who are really invested into the project, and who really love this and enjoy this and are in the NFT space as well. For example, like I remember when I talked to them first, I was like, they were like, if we can get anything to you to make your video better that you're gonna make about us, then let us know. And I was like, okay, if you can get me a video of Paulo Dybala greeting me, that would blow my mind. And they did that. The other day they sent
Yeah.
me a video of Paulo Dybala saying, "Yo, Fiago, what's up? Thanks for your support." And that just, as you said, he's my favorite player. And that's just, you wouldn't get that if the players weren't really loving this project as well. And that's why it might be hard for them to. Of course, they as they also said that multiple times, they can get sick players as in their second drop basically, but I think they're really hesitant who to pick. Like they don't want to get players who just are there to grab some
Make
cash.
it.
Yeah.
And you need to do those first players justice. You know, you need to get their NFTs out there, give all the experiences they can get, and before
Mm-hmm.
you go just moving on to the next batch and the next
Yeah.
batch. So I completely get that. So yeah, Ludo Labs, it's funny because look, whenever I scheduled this podcast, we haven't really spoken in DMs other than me saying, "Hey, do you fancy the podcast?" And we didn't really speak too much before this. It was a bit of a sound check, but I didn't like. It's funny because I actually do. I think I have an affiliate link or something for Ludo Labs somewhere because I did a video with them back in December. But that's not what this is about. So, like, I don't want people thinking that we've been put up to this. This is just a very natural conversation about
Absolutely. Yeah. We
platforms
didn't talk about
that
Ludo
we
Labs.
care about. You know, so that, and I'll ask you off the back of that, I suppose. Are there any other NFT football projects that stand out to you or that you're involved with?
Involved. Other than that, there is an NFT project in a German one called TFC. You know what? Like it's from Germany,
No.
but it's international. Like, it's called the Football Club, which I personally really love. It's not that famous yet though. They just had a drop today actually. That this is a project where it's a mobile phone app where you also line up fantasy teams, like yeah, usually 11 players in your fantasy team, but you don't buy those players as NFTs. You just have a budget like usual
Mm.
FPL stuff like that, and their prices just change from game to game. And you have an avatar where you if you win those fantasy challenges, there's like challenges for every game. You win in-game money, and you can buy clothes for your avatar, for your like in-game person, and those clothes are NFTs then. So that's a project that I'm really looking at right now. They only have the Bundesliga right now as a license, but I think this one can be really cool as well since it's completely free to play. That's a good aspect for me. But it's still pretty small, so let's see how this goes. Other than that, there is a few like manage your club projects coming up lately.
Yeah.
Like actually a lot of them. You know, maybe
Mm.
Fhotium is there.
Photium, I think, is the biggest one.
Yeah,
Photium's the one that I think seemed to have the biggest success. I have a Photium club.
me too. Yeah.
I have a Division 4 one, I think.
Well, wow,
But
that's actually good, huh?
I'm excited to see where that goes or how it all works out. I think their beta is happening. Do you say beta or beta? I don't think it matters. Their beta, I'm going to say, is coming.
We get it.
Um, I think I might have access to that. I'm not sure, and I'll get to play it and see. I'm excited. It's going to be kind of football managery more than anything. And your
Mhm.
club generates NFTs each season. I think seasons last a few weeks. I've heard this somewhere, and then you can sell those players to maybe you can keep them and use them in your game, or you can sell them to clubs in lower tiers or even higher divisions if you make a gem. I don't know. I'm really excited to see how that goes.
Mhm.
The other one that's been released over the last day or two, and one that I haven't got involved with yet, but just to give them a shout out because I know MDJ is involved, someone I'm very fond of. Club game app. Have you
Mhm.
seen it?
Yeah, I
It
just
seems to
actually
have.
bought my club today. I minted mine today.
You see,
I'm
I'm
not.
tempted. I'm tempted. I don't know what to call the club.
I think it's called like Fiago FC or something. Had no idea. I hope you can change the name later. But
Yeah,
I don't.
it's the thing. Here's the thing, right? And I've seen this with other projects. I think even Ludo Labs to an extent, where the mint price is now higher than secondary. Where like if you go to
Mhm.
mint, or maybe that's changed, but was the mint price like 0.15, and if you went to secondary on OpenSea, you could get them for like 0.12 or 0.13.
It
So
was the
that would,
case. It was the case when I bought those off the floor. I don't know how it is now with Ludo Labs.
yeah. I mean, if you believe in it long term, it doesn't actually matter. But
Yeah.
what I'm talking about is now in terms of trying to sell out mints for these NFT projects. It was the same with like Futera United. That's another one we haven't mentioned. All these are so interesting. I love it. I love the innovation. I'm really excited to see what sticks over the next 5-10 years. But let's go back to club game. Like I'm looking at it, and I don't know if let's say it was like 2,500 or something
I think that's
um,
yeah.
for spots. I've been looking, and there's only like 600 or 700 sold now. So, what does the person who minted the first one get more than the guy who mints the 2,500th one? Nothing. I don't think
No.
anything extra other than security and waiting. Because if
Yeah,
they
I
don't
guess
sell
so.
out, the price get dipped. Do you know what I mean? So maybe yes, okay, you should back the project if you believe in it, and then you're helping propel it to success. I get that,
Mhm.
but part of me is like, I could mint now, or I could just check it every few days and then mint
Yeah,
whenever
totally
it's at
get
like
that as well.
2,000.
Yeah,
But then
obviously.
the risk you run there is that they drop a huge piece of news or a huge partnership and they sell out. That's the
Mhm.
risk. Um, but I'm excited to see what they do. They look like another kind of managerial style game with like a free to play version or like a non NFT version.
Yeah,
And
exactly. There
then,
was like 2 versions of clubs. One was just like you reserve your name for like £20, but that wasn't an NFT. And the NFT one was like 0.06, 0.065 or something. So
hmm,
I was like, yeah, I also saw that there was only 600 this morning sold, but I was like, okay, the price is not that high. I'm just gonna back it. I'm just gonna get one.
yeah.
And yeah, and save up one in case I check back tomorrow and it's sold out, which I don't think. But yeah, I completely get your point as well. But yeah,
Well,
I
whenever
sorry.
whenever you're the football NFT guy or whenever like that's what you're branding yourself as, you want exposure to these things. You want skin in the game. You
Exactly,
want
yeah.
to follow them. You want to see. I mean, it pays for you, even if it goes tits up. It's an experience. It's something you've experienced. It's something you can talk about. So, it's different again as a content creator.
Exactly.
The Another one there that just I'm going around the houses here of other NFT projects just for a wee shout because again, Fiago, you're the football NFT guy. So, Futera, did you ever look at it?
Actually, not at
Futera United.
Futera is actually they do make physical cars, no?
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
that
yeah.
the same thing? I haven't looked at
Yeah.
their NFT thing yet, to be quite honest, which is
Do you
probably
know
a shame.
anything about it?
Yeah, let me you can tell me about it.
Oh yeah, I was just I didn't want to like patronize you if you knew anything about it.
Oh, no, no,
So
oh, no, I don't actually.
yeah, so basically what they've done is because Futera are actually like a proper I'm not going to call them as big as like an institution or like a massive household name or anything, but they are an established company over years. And I think they're based in Asia. And they basically bought a football club, like a local football club that's I don't actually know. Is it Thai? I'm not sure. I think it could be Thai football. Don't know what
Okay.
division they're in, but they've bought the club. They've named it Futera United. They've sold NFTs, and you get like a randomly generated footballer card thing. But I think these NFTs give you like voting power and decisions around the club. So like they had like a scouting day, and like the video, and like I don't know if they live stream it or not. The thing I think they lacked, I don't know if they've changed it, was maybe a YouTube presence. I think getting people engaged in that team, in that thing,
Kinda
that
kinda
would make
hashtag
people then
United.
spend. Eh?
Kinda hashtag United style.
Yeah, kind of like that. But anyway, you can pick. I think people were voting on the kits and this sort of stuff, and
Okay.
I think they're hoping to get to a stage where people can live kind of vote on like substitutions at halftime and tactics and
Okay.
shit like this. So it's interesting, but again, it goes back to like I think it seems very fun. And I think long term, if they did do a good enough job on the content side and engage the community on YouTube, that's when they sell stuff, and that's when they. But until they have an engaged community, I don't think they sell like the NFTs. But because they're a more established company, I don't think they're in a rush to do so. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? They've bought the club;
Yeah.
they can afford the club anyway. The NFTs is just a
Yeah.
fun side game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Like the club, buying the club is ruining the company. But yeah, that's an interesting thing. I hadn't heard about them buying a club, so I guess I have to get educated on that. It just
yeah,
reminded me so much on like if the fans get involved and everything the club does. It reminded me so much of hashtag United. That if they got into NFTs actually, hashtag United, I think that could be massive as well
mm,
because they already
yeah.
have that engaged community, a massive engaged community.
I actually need to look them up. I've heard of them. Like I remember there was a guy on like Love Island or something recently where it was like he used to be on hashtag United or some bullshit. But
Yeah, I heard that as well. I don't watch Love
yeah.
Island, but
So is it just a football club that they make loads of YouTube content about and like just really go to
you mean
town on it?
hashtag? Yeah,
Yeah.
this is owned by what's he called? Spencer FC. You know that YouTuber?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Spencer, yeah, I think he owns the club. Like, I'm not the biggest hashtag United follower, but I know I've watched a couple of videos. I think he founded it or bought it. I don't know. And they're like, what division are they in? No idea. But like their ultimate goal might be,
They're the
well,
eighth tier.
eighth tier. Okay, I don't know if if they can ever get into the EFL, that would be massive. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the type of thing that I think Futera could see themselves becoming. But again, for me, maybe it's not even at all what they see themselves becoming. Maybe this isn't their vision. But when I looked at it and thought of it and saw the NFTs and saw people engaging with the team, I thought the content needs to be on point. And I thought YouTube.
Yeah,
So without really knowing what hashtag United was, I think that's pretty much what I expected for Terra to try and be. But
same
the
here.
last one that comes to mind, and this is because I'm just going through all the ones that come to my mind. Genuino. You heard of them?
Sorry.
Genuino. They're Italian.
Um,
The Fiorentina shirt
mm,
one.
no, actually, I
So
definitely
what they do is they
never heard.
basically, I think that they have an interesting one. I think where basically you get the NFTs and they're all artwork and they're different shirts and trophies and stuff over the years of Fiorentina's history, and you can basically win through those NFTs or you get like signed shirts and stuff. That's kind of the gist of it. I think like the idea is there and the idea is solid and there's a lot more to it than that. I'm not doing it justice, but the issue was that they only had Fiorentina, who there aren't a lot of global supporters for. So, like, if they ended up having that concept for bigger clubs, maybe more people buy in. So it'd be interesting to see how they're doing, or if they've announced more clubs. But they're just the last one to give a shout. I hadn't planned to do an around the houses of NFT projects, but here we go. There we are.
Yeah, it's
Um,
interesting.
is there anything else, or will we jump into some so rare stuff?
Um, what else is there? Is there any other NFT projects in, do you know that, socials.com? That thing that is
I
all
see it
around.
everywhere. I
Me too,
don't.
me too.
It's a
But
token thing. It's like a fan token. Where you,
yeah, it's that fan token thing they have. They're the, aren't they the main sponsor, kit sponsor of Inter? Inter Milan, yeah, they are. But they
I've
are
seen
like,
them on shirts.
I've
Yeah.
seen them. They're like not the main sponsor, but they're like sponsors in so many big teams actually. And yeah, you can buy those fan tokens, but I don't know. I haven't really got into this. You can just
Mm.
that also grants you some voting rights on kits, and yeah,
Team
that's
bosses and stuff.
yeah.
Like
I don't know.
I've seen clubs doing it like with like team boss colors and painting the team boss type things. You know
Yeah,
that type of
yeah.
stuff.
Like nothing, like all the really unimportant stuff basically.
Yeah, yeah,
Goes
yeah.
on, but it's fun. It's fun as well. But that's probably the most mainstream NFT project, or one of the most, because they sponsor so many clubs. But I don't know. I don't really think it's fun, but nothing more, I guess.
Mm. Right. We'll move on to some so rare talk. So the first thing that I want to talk about, straight off the bat, and then we'll come back and maybe have a look at your gallery and different things. But one of the big things of this week is absolutely without doubt the unique auctions. So there are two massive ones. There's loads of big ones, but there's two massive ones. There's the
Hmm.
Joshua Kimmich, and we have the Lionel Messi Unique. So, what I'm going to start doing this in this podcast every single week, I'm going to have a hot take. So, I'm going to try and come up with something, be it a player, be it a team, be it a something that's happening so rare, and try and just give you my take on it, right? And I'm
Okay.
not saying this take is ever going to be accurate, fair, good. I'm sure I will get absolutely lambasted sometimes. But I'm going to talk this week about the Lionel Messi Unique sale on SoRare. At the minute, it's sitting at 10 ETH with 3 days left. That's 28 grand. I think it is the most unusual time ever to put out a Lionel Messi Unique. People disagree because it has to go out at some time. But I don't think he's playing particularly amazing football. I think we're coming to the end of the season. We're coming into the European slump in terms of SoRare. I think there's a lot of uncertainty around the platform. And I think Lionel Messi's Unique coming out is strange. And I think that coupled with the Kimmich, where you've got two massive cards coming out within days of each other, I just think it's a strange move. Um, People might disagree. People think it has to come out at some stage. And I don't actually know when would have been better. Maybe a couple of months ago. I don't know. Fiago, what do you think? Do you think it's a fair time, a strange time, or do you not really care?
I guess. Well, I don't know if SoRare actually before the season had planned every unique release or scheduled every unique release, or if they just
Mm.
do it randomly. I'm not sure about
They
that.
do it. They tend to do it, and it appears that they go out whenever players do something that is good. So, like,
I
basically, when someone's in form, because
oh,
then the averages looks good and people will generally pay more because
then
of
then
recency bias.
actually then actually they probably waited all season to for Messi to get into that form, which never happened. I could imagine that, and then they were just
Yeah,
like, okay, we have to release him at some point. So
that's a
that's
fair
actually
take.
that's the only thing that I could imagine, or the only reasoning for why they releasing him right now. Because other than that, if they had released him at the start of the season, obviously it would have been a way bigger hype. But they were probably waiting for him to like really settle in Paris, which hasn't happened.
I think that is an absolutely like that's a properly fair take. Obviously PSG are out of Europe now, and I think that means maybe they were waiting for something big to happen. Lionel Messi to score a winner or do something big. Now he's a few more games over in France and it's done. So maybe, as you say, that's a great thought that I hadn't really given to it. He's had good performances. He's Messi in terms of so rare. He will still score well,
Hmm.
but he hasn't really had that moment or had the hype for a consistent like period of a few weeks even. So maybe they just got fed up of waiting and have to get the card out there. Um, that is a fair take. The other thing,
Hmm.
another take on this whole thing is that a lot of people really just don't care about the prices of uniques. It's something I've seen on social media where people are like, I don't get why people stream the unique auctions. I don't get why people care, do you know? But the thing you need to realize with these uniques is that the uniques in many ways can dictate, not dictate, but they can influence the prices maybe the super rares go for, which can influence the rares, which can influence the limiteds. It kind of trickles down. And equally it can go the other way. Um, but the bigger thing with a card like Messi and why some people might care about the timing of it and why some people like me or others would want it to go for the highest possible price is the publicity in the overall NFT space. If that Messi card does a Haaland like the Haaland did and went for stupid money, 600 and something grand, that makes waves throughout the world, not just in football, throughout NFTs, throughout investing, throughout crypto. My dad, who doesn't give a shit about any of this or even football, to be honest, rang me and said, they're talking about So Rare on the radio in Belfast. Like, so that's why people care because the
Yeah.
marketing and the exposure that an auction of the Lionel Messi first ever unique could potentially have is huge. And there's a big difference between that going for 500 grand and a million. And depending on when you release that in the year, levels of hype, bullishness in crypto, overall markets, it can have a big effect. So I don't know. That's just my take on the whole Messi thing. I'd be interested to hear other people's on social media.
Yeah. Makes sense, actually. Obviously, I think, as you said, most people don't care about uniques because they're out of the price range, including me. But I still care about the auctions. I watched all your like when you did the watch alongs for the Haaland going. I think also for the Vinicius
Mm.
going. You did the same, right?
Yeah, the Vinicius, I had like a tech issue and it was like a 4 minute video. I literally
Yeah,
nearly
you
missed the
got in late,
auction.
but
Yeah.
still, I think it's like it represents the feeling of like the general feeling around the platform probably when that Haaland went for, was it 265 ETH?
It was like 600 grand. I don't know what it
600
was at the
grand,
time.
yeah. And that created so much hype. Imagine if they, yeah, well, I don't know if they had released the Messi back then. If do you think Messi will break Haaland? By the way, I think he.
That's a big question. And the reason it's big is it's the timing. I think the price of
Yeah,
ETH is doing okay now. What's ETH looking like? Yeah, it's
back
up
on
a
the
good
rise,
bit
huh?
over the last, yeah, back on the rise, big time over the last sort of month. The reason I asked that is because I think in terms of setting a fate record for euros or pounds, I think a lot of the people who will come into an auction like this probably already have the ETH, their big ETH wheels. So the ETH price, like it's going to go for the ETH that it's going to go for.
Yeah, and that
Maybe
will
I'm
be
wrong
more
on
euros
that,
than
and
when the
that
ETH
will
is higher.
dictate the yeah. Does he break Haaland? I think it's a really tough one because you're going back to collectability versus utility, and I don't know if there's enough collectability on the platform yet. And he's not wearing an Argentina. Not that he's done a hell of a lot there, but a Barcelona shirt. He's wearing a PSG shirt, so it's
Yeah, okay.
tough.
Okay, for the collectability, that is not as great as the Barca shirt for sure. I was also thinking, might it be? It's his first ever unique, but might it be his last as well? I don't know if he stays at PSG beyond the season. So that's
Yeah.
what I was kind of thinking. I don't know what he does in summer, but um, let's say he really, he doesn't move back to Argentina, but it could happen, and people could theoretically, the buyer here could own the only ever Messi Unique. The option exists, and then the
Mm.
collectability would come in there as well, I think. But it's a tough one. It's really a tough one. I don't think
I'll
he will
throw.
break Haaland, to be honest.
You don't.
I
I.
say rather not, but it's gonna be close. Hard one.
It's hard. It's really hard. I don't think if I have to make my call now in terms of euro price, I don't think he breaks Haaland at the minute with the current state of affairs. Now, yeah, I don't. It's done in 3 days. Yeah, the announcement that we're going to talk about, the community update comes after that. So it's not even like there could be hype off it. I
Mm.
think he goes for less. A question that's kind of relevant to today: does it go for more than the Joshua Kimmich Unique? Kimmich
Where
or
is the
Messi?
Kimmich right now? 80th?
Yes.
Mm.
Kimmich is at 8.33 ETH with 21 hours left, 22 hours left, and Messi sitting just over 10 with 3
Yeah,
days left.
that's the question, right? For the utility bot, I guess you would be way smarter buying the Kimmich than the Messi. Way more years in it, and that's no debate. But Kimmich is never gonna become a name as big as Messi. Obviously, that's also no
Mm.
debate. So that's again the collectability versus utility one. I think it goes for more than Kimmich, to be honest.
Do
Just because
you?
I don't think it's reasonable or rational. Because
Mm.
again, Kimmich, you have a world class player for like at least 5 more years, I guess. But it's still the name Messi is still so big. I could really
Mm.
see it being higher than Kimmich still.
I think it's a fair take, but I'm going to say I think Kimmich goes for more. And it's a ballsy call. Oh, I don't even know if I believe it myself. Right. So I think Kimmich goes for more because his rare goes for more and his super rare goes for more. But I think that logic might get thrown out the window when it comes to a Lionel Messi unique because there'll be someone who just wants it and will pay
Mhm.
whatever the cost. So I don't know. Part of me going into this was like, I'm going to make the call that Kimmich goes for more. But now when I think about it, the thought of Kimmich going for 500,000 seems out of the it seems a bit crazier to me than Messi going for like I don't think
Same.
Kimmich has the right to break the Haaland unique, but I think Messi's in the conversation. So it's like maybe
Yeah,
Messi should just go for more then. But logic tells me that Kimmich should be worth more.
it's really a
It's a
tricky
hard
one.
one.
It's really a tricky one. Yeah. The question is like, obviously the as you said, the rare goes for more than Messi. Kimmich's rare goes for more than Messi, but um for rares, obviously the utility plays a way bigger role than the collectability, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Well, for
yeah.
uniques, as you said, it's just people might just not think rationally. They just want it and just want like crazy rich people who just want the right to like brag,
Mm.
I own a 101 Lionel Messi card, whereas they're not going to buy the rare, they're going to buy the unique. I don't know, but if I would have to make a prediction, Haaland, Messi, and then Kimmich. Let's see.
I'm going to ask you a left field question. Dybala, where does he end up this summer?
Oof. Oh, first of all, I'm very, very, very sad that he's going to leave Juve. Still,
Mm.
like 1% hope that he's going to accept lower wages, but that's not going to happen. No. That's not going to happen, sadly. I think he doesn't fit into the Premier League. It just he's always like his body doesn't. Since COVID started, he's had like 4 times. He has like I don't know. He's had
Mm.
COVID like 4 times. Feels like that, and it really feels like it has really hurt his body. I don't know. He's been
Mm.
getting injured more and more, which is so sad to see. And he just can't keep playing 10 games without getting injured. So I don't think a physically strong league as the Premier League would suit his playing style. Rather think Spain is the place for him. To be honest, Spain, and there actually I would like to see him at Barcelona. Do Barca need him? Not
Mm.
sure. Not
They've
sure.
made a lot
But
of big signings, haven't they?
yeah, but I think where he would suit best is obviously either he stays in Italy, which I don't hope. At Inter. At Inter he would fit very well, which would get me absolutely sad and crazy. I hope that doesn't
Mm.
happen. But I think he would fit at Inter. There's also the Marotta, the old sporting director of Juventus at Inter, who has a good connection to him. So he might end up there or at yeah, in Spain. Barca, not sure. Atletico, is that an option?
It's I don't know, something feels Atletico about it. I feel like Madrid, I think with his injury record, I don't know, Madrid and Barca, but I could see like Atletico. I see a lot of Spurs rumors
Yeah,
happening.
obviously. They're like the front runners to sign him apparently,
Mm.
but again, I don't see why he would go to the Premier League. I could literally just see him, yeah, getting a long-term injury right in his first games.
He's a really tough player because I don't know. It's one of those where like the quality's there, but who wants to sign a player with that injury history? It's
Yeah,
it's hard,
exactly.
and on the wages he's on. So maybe you are talking one of those absolutely crazy clubs like Barcelona who'll just go and sign Aubameyang, Traore, and Ferran Torres and
Yeah,
Aguero and everyone else in the same window.
yeah.
Maybe it does take a crazy team. So I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that at you because he's your favorite player. Um, to come over to your gallery then on SoRare, and then we'll talk about the community update. When I look at your gallery, there was two players that stood out because you're mainly you've rares and you have a load of limited cards. You've like 100 limited cards. But when
Yeah,
we
those
look at the
are
rares, I just want to know: is there a reason for this? You have 4 Gabbiadinis. Do
Oh,
you
yeah.
rate him? Do
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Is there a strategy behind that?
There is actually. I also made a video on that, YouTube video on that. It's just because sadly he tore his ACL in was it in yeah, it was in start of February. And yeah, I just like you probably know this as well. When players get such a serious injury, they always drop massively, which happened here. And I just picked him up for he was like what was he like? 0.2, and I then he immediately dropped to like 0.1. I picked him up for 0.08, I think, 4 times. Where now he's probably the same. No, not now. He's a little bit more. Yeah, it's just one of it's a strategy picking up players that you
Mm,
think will return from their injury just after their injury. You know, you probably know about
yeah.
this much better than me. But this is the reason because I just think unless Sampdoria, where he plays, get relegated, well, even in that case, I think he could go to the better team. He's still a quality player, I think. He was on a great run of form before he got injured, and yeah,
Mm.
I think he will bounce back. Very, very confident actually as the new season comes.
I really rate though the fact that you've went and I mean for the 19 rare cards you've got 4 Gabbiadinis. I love
Yeah,
it. Do you know, like, because I think like when people are trading, quite often diversification is all very great, is great and all that. But when you have a real feeling about something, you believe in something, having the conviction and going in hard, I mean, there's a lot to be said for it. You've another one there, Ruiz de Galarreta. You've 3 of
same
him.
thing there. Yeah, same thing happened there. Actually, I think he after I bought him, he dropped even more. Probably, I don't know. I didn't really check. But the same, I think he also tore his ACL. Was it that? But he also got a really, really serious injury. And actually, similar situation. Plays for Mallorca, and they are also in the relegation battle. I hope they don't get relegated. But again, same scenario here. If they stay up, I think he was one of their most important players. As the new season hype comes, I think. Did I buy 3? I think so. I think I have 3 of him.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So as you said, that's high conviction, but also high risk, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like these plays. I was actually also very close to buying Florian Wirtz when he also tore his ACL, but there, I don't know, was a little bit too hot for me still. Yeah.
Florian Wirtz, let's talk about him for a second. Florian Wirtz, without doubt, one of the most exciting 5-3 players on the planet at the minute. One of the most exciting young players playing outstanding football at Leverkusen. It's an absolute, it's devastating to see him get an injury like that. It really is heartbreaking. But to
Absolutely.
talk about it from a SoRare perspective, like his NFTs, I mean, if you look at, I have his rare.
Oh, you
If
do?
we look at his rare, it dipped from 3.5 ETH probably just before the injury, now down to half price,
Yeah,
1.7 ETH it sold for. Now the floor at the minute is nowhere near that, but I mean, someone's going to want to sell. And limiteds, again, there's more limiteds in the market. There's more people looking to undercut each other. In terms of percentages, he dipped from a peak of 0.692 ETH to a bottom of 0.19, which is crazy. And at the minute, his floor is about 0.3. So as a percentage, it's dropped even further, more than half value, half price. Do you think that's an opportunity? Do you back the player to come back? It's very hard, I know, but in terms of
yeah.
coming back from ACLs at an age like that,
I
what are your
think,
thoughts?
well, I think he is just turning 19. I think he just turned 19. So it's always super, super tough to predict if a 19-year-old will come back to his former self after such an injury that might take him out 9 months. He might miss the World Cup. He will probably miss the World Cup. But if anyone can do, I think within Germany, it's Florian Wirtz, because he's just the most, like, the brightest German talent, in my opinion. He's been absolutely balling for Leverkusen before his injury, which can also be seen with his SoRare price before the injury was just mentally high. But yeah, as I said, I was looking into that. I think some people, yeah, as you said, 0.19 was the lowest he's been picked up for and limited.
At limited,
Wow.
0.19, yeah.
That is crazy, man. I did make offers for him as well, but I didn't really get him that low, so I stayed away from it. But had I gotten him for like 0.2, 0.21, 22, I would have got him as well. So to answer your question, yes, I do think he's going to come back. And even if he's not, I think the hype before he comes back is going to drive the price up
That's
anyway.
that's the thing, right? If we put this into euros for people, he was at 1,800 euros pre-injury, and he sold for 463 at his lowest. The thing with injury trading here is, and again, I can't forget there's a lot of beginners listening to stuff like this. It doesn't matter if Verts ever comes back to what he was. And I'm not saying, like, if you believe in SoRare, if we just trust that SoRare stays at the same kind of sentiment and market, okay. So I'm not taking into account a bear market. I'm not taking into account SoRare dying here, right? But if we're talking purely Florian Verts and how this market will work, his price will 100. I would bet my life. I would bet it all that he will be worth more before he kicks a ball. The day he kicks a ball, the day he is on the starting sheet, he is worth more than he is today, if we don't take into account everything else that could happen in the SoRare sort of
Yeah.
ecosystem. Okay. But in terms of like a pure strategy, if you believe in all that and trust that, the strategy is as sound as it comes. A young, hype player gets injured. He's out for a long period of time. He's forgotten about. People get frustrated and they sell. He might even go a little bit lower, but it looks like he's bounced. In 9 months, when he gets on the starting sheet, the team sheet, his price rises. It happens all the time with Doku. Just go and look at his graph. They're the best type of players to injury trade. It's just a real shame. And it is a bit maybe unsensitive when you have such a young player. And I love the guy. Like, I love him so much that I went and bought his rare. Whenever you see like that happen to him, it's heartbreaking. Like, I did my ACL a few years ago. It's not nice. It's not nice. So heartbroken for him. So hopefully we see him before the end of the year. All right. The community update, Fiago. So SoRare came out and they said, hi everyone. We hope you're well. We'd like to invite you all to join us for the first ever SoRare community update next Tuesday, March the 29th, and it's premiering on their YouTube at 5 o'clock Central Eastern Time. That's pretty much all they've given away. Now, it's interesting because they have a YouTube channel, and I have to say, no one really knew they had a YouTube channel because they don't do anything there.
Mm-hmm. Only
So
those
first off,
videos, right?
yeah, the Legends things, and they actually got quite a few views. I think it's really interesting that they're sending people to YouTube. The last time they did a video reveal type thing, it was La Liga. Now, I don't know what are you expecting here, or what were your initial thoughts when you seen it?
So yeah, I think, did you say it? Someone said that, and I very much agree with that. If I think people are uncertain what to expect, is it going to be a bad thing, good thing? But I think if it was a bad thing, they wouldn't have hyped it up that much. So it has to be something they think is great for the community. Say that first. I think it's actually, now that they're hyping it up that much, I expect a lot. I think it's gonna be the app. I think and hope, but I don't think that will be it. Do you think the app is gonna be in it?
So, I think I've got so much on this, right? So first off, I think it's going to be the app.
Yeah.
Yes. But I think if it's just the app, I
It's
will be very
disappointing.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, while an app is a huge step for the platform and onboarding, in terms of the day-to-day use of the platform for pretty much 99% of the platform, it doesn't matter. We all use SoRare data anyway.
Yeah.
It's the truth of the matter. I go onto SoRare to buy cards and actually lock in lineups. I do nothing else there. And maybe an app changes that. Maybe the app is something that's engaging, that has notifications, that has more to it. So I get why an app can be great, but like, an app's not what I care about. I care about gameplay changes, rewards they promised. I'm trying to find it here. Remember they said they'd come
Exactly.
back to us at the end of March. But yeah, let me see. I'll try and find this. The thing about it as well is that I find quite confusing is, I think doing this, you put pressure on yourself to deliver something that's like, whether or not you like it, everyone's hyped. Everyone's expecting something now. Do you
Yes.
know? So you have to deliver, otherwise there's disappointment. And yes, we will all talk about it and get all excited, and then inevitably, no matter what it is, unless it's the Premier League, be disappointed. But it's like, I don't know, they've kind of given themselves, they have to deliver now. And then you've got Nicholas on one end on Twitter saying like it's coming, and like that's what he tweeted, something like it's coming. And
Yeah.
then you have in the official Discord Dan trying to be like, "Oh no, now look, it's not the Premier
It's
League or
not
anything like
yeah.
that." Calm
Yeah,
down.
that's weird communication, right? And that's kind of representing what they've been doing for the last weeks and or months. Communication has been a little bit weird, but again, if they're all that hyped about it, it can't be this. I mean, it has to be huge. Again, I think it will be the app, but as you said, that's not what we care about mainly. I think there will also be gameplay updates. Is it the progress
Mm,
bar finally
that's
after
where I was
months and
going.
months? I don't know. It could be. Is it? I think it will definitely be a change in the scoring system or in the reward system for sure. Not the reward system. I think that will
Mm,
be in it as well. Those two, I expect those two actually. If those two come, it depends on what change it will be. Obviously, in the reward system. I can also not say. People ask me every day, "Do you think the progress bar will be better than the threshold or not?" I don't know. It has to it all comes down to how they implement it.
mm.
We have no idea how they will do that. But I think those two will be the main features of the community thing on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah, I see the app being announced. Maybe some, even if it's not released, some sort of images, or what are they called? Like, not prototype, but just like maybe prototype kind of images. Hyping it up a bit, showing us what's
yeah,
coming. I think it's imperative that we get an update on the rewards, or sorry, the progress bar, the future of the thresholds. I think we need to know, because you, being a content creator who puts out so rare stuff, I have no doubt you get lots of questions like me about, should I start with a
you probably get
threshold
way more
team
than
with
me
my
even. Yeah,
common? Do you do this, or do I go and buy limiteds? And it's so hard to tell people what to do. So I really want that clarity. I think like maybe they tie in, maybe, I don't know, just a thought, like the Scottish Premier League could be announced with it. Who knows? But then maybe the Scottish Premier League would want to be their own announcement, so maybe they don't couple that up with other things. Maybe expecting multiple things like that on one announcement is
yeah,
a bit much. Maybe the Scotland one would want their own hype. Maybe there's no app. Maybe it just is that. I don't know. Um, but it's important. It's definitely important, because frustrations have been on an all-time high. They seem to be prioritizing onboarding more and more and more, and not really the current experience or retention.
yeah,
That's my vibe. That's what I get from them. And I think, the current users deserve more than that. And I think the current product, we all love it, but I just think it could be 10 times better, and I just hope it happens. I hope stuff happens. I'm very excited. I'll be sat there waiting to watch.
Obviously, we
But
all be. How could you imagine the progress bar? Just if you had to like, how could you imagine this being beneficial to the platform, or like better than the threshold, but also within
I
realistic boundaries?
so I think it'll probably be less profitable than the thresholds, but that doesn't mean that it's worse. So I think it'll be a lot more engaging. I think it'll be a lot more addictive. I think there'll be a lot more gamification of it. I think we might have extra game modes. I think people will be more glued to the app and the game, and every week will count more because you're building towards something bigger. So even if it goes from the average payout weekly, I don't know how many people enter All Star Rare, and I don't know or Rare. All Star Rare. That's what it's called, isn't it? Not D4. I don't know how many people enter, and I don't know what the average ETH payout is across the X amount of thousand entrants and how much ETH is won. But let's say, I mean, this is me just picking a number out of my head. Let's say the average payout is 0.12, 0.012 ETH. You know, some people get the higher threshold, some people get the 0.1, and some people get nothing. I think maybe the average here overall, what is paid out, drops, but it could be made up for if they've done it right in engagement, fun, and upside. Maybe more of a jackpot factor. You know,
Yeah,
maybe there isn't the consistent win and profit that we're all becoming used to. You know, oh yeah, there's 50 quid this week, there's 50 quid midweek, there's 50 quid this weekend,
yeah,
50 quid midweek.
yeah.
People are grinding out. If you have a big gallery, you're grinding out with those thresholds, 100 quid a week, no problem. Maybe that goes to on average 70 quid a week. You're losing a bit, but if it's a more fun experience, will anyone complain?
Not at
That's
all.
kind of
Yeah,
that's what I see.
good
But
one. Could also make it like, yeah. I don't know if you play FIFA. I don't play it myself, but there's like seasons, and
yeah, in Ultimate
there is
Team.
exactly an ultimate team, and there's like, I don't know, 30 levels or something. I
Mm,
could imagine stuff like this being implemented into SoRare. I don't know, a season being, I don't know, 2 months, and then yeah, like every 500 points in All Star Rare, you get I don't know, some sort of, maybe a card, even maybe. Well, that would be quite difficult. Probably rather do it with ETH, but get a small ETH reward, and then at the end, if you reach, I don't know how many points they're gonna end up with at the jackpot, but maybe not 0.1 at, I don't know how many thousand points. But
yeah,
obviously, this would make it more addictive, as you said. Not just get the 0.02 or 0.01 anyway every week, and then every point above that 250 is just useless because you're not
mm.
going to win. Maybe not going to win a card. But as you said, every point would count, and people would sit even more in front of their screens and watch their players play. Maybe. So I
Even yeah,
completely
because
agree with that.
once four guys play, even if they all have crap scores, your last guy's score still counts. And what
Exactly.
if, when they talk about game modes, they've mentioned game modes before, implying more than just the current SO5. What if the current SO5 competitions all remained? They take out the thresholds, they skim a few rewards off, and then they chuck in this progress bar as a separate game mode where you enter it separately. Maybe, I don't know. And you
Hmm.
work up those levels, and at each level, you might unlock something else. Like, okay, there's 200 XP for one of your players. Who do you want to apply it to?
That's a good one.
Here,
Yeah.
here's 0.05 ETH. Well done. Bang, you've unlocked a tier 3 limited. On we go. You're up to level 17. Well done. You've unlocked a tier 2 limited. Here's 0.01 ETH. And here's 500 XP. And then you go on, and it goes up and up and up.
Yeah.
You've won a tier 3 super rare. Here's 5,000. 5,000 XP is probably much, but you know what I'm getting at. And
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
0.25 ETH. You're one of the top 0.1% performers on the platform. Congratulations. You know, that type of stuff can happen, and that is way more engaging, that is way more fun. And if people aren't like the absolute meta players who grind to maximize profits, they won't be happy. But they're not what the platform's for. It's for football lovers. Do you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah. It would make it everything way, way, way more fun. Absolutely. And as you said, I don't care if I win 20% less ETH that way. Absolutely don't
mm,
care. If the game is good, the game is also gonna grow like that. So
yeah.
and that's ultimately that's what the SoRare want as well. So I don't see
Mm,
why. I completely can see this happening in some way. I can also see them announcing some stuff like this on Tuesday already. I think this would be like they would, if they really think about long-term growth of the platform, then they would want something like this, and we would also want this. So absolutely. So yeah, if some stuff like that comes, and the app is just a side thing, then I guess, because that's way more important for me, then I'll be happy. Yeah, I'll definitely be happy with the announcement. But
Well,
mm,
I
we
see. I
can only
see in
wait
the
and see.
comments that the premiere
Yeah,
live on Tuesday.
it will
I think
be
it's
a
Tuesday.
premiere. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's see how many people will watch that.
I'd say they'll get a few hundred more. It'll be interesting. I think a lot of people care about this, so maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they approach 1,000. But anyway, God knows. Will we answer some questions people submitted for us?
Sure.
So the way we do this is we go from the most liked to the least liked until I get
Okay.
bored, and then I'll ask you if there's any you kind of want to answer before we go. So Mark O'Sullivan said, "Here's a different one for you. What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given for SoRare?" Leaving it up to you if you want the name and shame. So we both do videos. We both do videos with advice. Have you ever been given really shit advice?
Okay, so that's about advice I've been given, not given myself. Okay.
Either, yeah, what you've been given, and if you don't have an answer, is there crap
Ah,
advice you've given?
what kind of crap advice have I been given? I think most SoRare content creators, cheers to them, are actually great. So don't want to. I don't know. Have I ever been given shit advice? I think it depends. Probably I've seen many people. If that, I don't know if that's shit. But buy players when they were at their peak. Like for example, buy MLS now, and I've seen content creators do that. But again, that's not shit advice. For me, that might be bad advice because I kind of care about the trading aspect of the game. But some people just care about the SO5 one and want to win rewards.
Mm,
So don't know. But you get me. So it always depends on,
yeah.
if you prefer, yeah, profit or fun rewards. So I guess that could be bad advice, but it doesn't have to be. Other than that, I
Mm.
don't know. I actually haven't been given crap advice. What about you?
Um, I don't think so, really. I actually no. I think it's hard because when I hear advice, I'm very rarely like that's crap advice because people normally just have your best interest at heart. I
Exactly. Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I've maybe in the past I've had some poor takes from people who give me advice about selling players or lining players up or don't do this because he's crap form or something, and then I do it anyway and they score 80 or
Okay.
something.
Okay.
You've had like little bits of that, but I can't say there's anyone who have been like, oh, that's just really crap advice. Can't
Yeah. At the
say I
end of
go
the
out
day,
really looking for advice either, but
in hindsight, you can also you can call a lot of advice crap, but
mm,
at the time when people said it, it might have made sense. So yeah, difficult one to
yeah,
answer. Tough one.
yeah. In terms of so rare related advice at Mark O'Sullivan, Mark Aleli, it was poor advice whenever I was in Barcelona and he was there, and someone advised that I order a squid flavored omelette. That was poor advice. And that was
What's
Alberto,
that?
aka Soberv. Yeah, you don't want to know. You do not want to know. The next question is from Jay Fraz, good friend of the show. If you were the CMO of SoRare, what would you do to bring increased visibility of the platform to the masses on a global scale while working within the realms of a realistic marketing budget? So,
Oof.
how would you market SoRare?
That's a really educated one. I would. I think what matters most to fans and also the mainstream fans that are not into Sorare yet, but like the big footballing community, is kind of what we've talked about earlier. Special experiences, maybe. Getting closer to the players, getting closer to your favorite club, and signed jerseys and that stuff. So I think that would be a great marketing tool actually for Sorare. Um, if they if they actually do that more often, give fans special experiences like they've been doing with the was it the Sevilla derby, right? Betis against FC Sevilla. They
Mm,
done. Did this already
yeah,
happen? I think it did. Yeah.
yeah, it was the end of
Like
February.
yeah, like do this kind of stuff way more often, and give the community or community members access to such experiences, and market that like in big on YouTube. Produce like, yeah, I don't know, cinematic movies of that, and in
Mm,
general also give more give more community members tickets to games. Not just because I might be getting some, no, generally. and make that possible for community members. Like those normal tickets, they aren't that expensive, so it will be within marketing budget. It doesn't have to be VIP or anything. Just showing what is possible if you're a community member, kind of what Ludo Labs are doing, but on a bigger scale. Because I think that's people would watch those YouTube videos, like a YouTube video where someone might meet. Okay, that's a big one, but someone might meet Messi or the Barcelona team, and someone does a vlog about that. That could easily go viral on YouTube, on social media, TikTok, and attract a big mainstream football community of people who are like, how did you do that? And then, okay, I was invited by SoRare or something, and then the game could gain exposure. That's the thing that I would love.
I think, like, if I'm going to try and break this down in my head, when I think of it, here's some free consultancy, SoRare, even though you've got people way more qualified than me working on this. I think there's like a few key barriers to entry. So I think hyping up what SoRare is, right? The first thing is there's a big stigma against NFTs at the minute in the general population. I was in the pub with my mates last week. One of them's training to become an accountant, and I said, Dave, you should 100% look into like NFTs and crypto. If you can become the guy, I said, I have 100 people. I have more than that across the UK and Ireland. If you can study both countries' laws, that I can send you, who will want you to do their taxes on their NFTs very soon. And he was like, but is that not all just a scam? And I was like, okay. There's this massive perception. So I think a huge part of SoRare's marketing campaign, personally, whether they like it or not, I feel almost needs to be educational. So I think, you need to educate, not necessarily what NFTs are. When I say educate about NFTs, I'm not talking NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They are on the blockchain, and no one gives a fuck. The layman doesn't care. It's over his head or her head, and they don't give a shit. When I say educate, what I mean is put the visual into people's heads. It's a big thing in marketing and selling. Like when I'm trying to sell you a loaf of bread, I don't say, do you want the loaf of bread? I say, do you want this freshly baked sourdough with fucking chia seeds? It sounds better. You visualize it smothered in butter, fresh out the oven, melting. You can smell it. You're already visualizing that experience. Seems like a tangent. Here comes another John shit analogy. Was SoRare. Let people see the possibilities. People don't give a fuck about. No, I'm talking about the masses, by the way. We're talking about marketing here. They don't care about some shitty little gold hexagon card. It's not like they're particularly beautiful or well designed or varied. They look at that and they go, oh, what's that, an NFT scam? No, let them see through a really visual marketing campaign that NFT grants people access to players' experiences and fandom. And through that, then you need to educate how easy it is. People think NFTs and think, oh, that's all that crypto shit. I don't understand it. What's a wallet? Let them see how easy it is. You can buy with your credit card on SoRare. That's what this YouTube should be. There should be a lot of they should use their access to create videos which have high upside in terms of virality and how many people can see it. And then inside those videos, incorporate education around NFTs to the layman and exactly how easy it is to set up a SoRare account. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just what I see, because billboards is one thing, but people just see SoRare, they Google it and it looks complicated and they say, nah.
Yeah.
And then people also assume that every card's worth thousands. Show them that you can play in limited for a couple of £100. Do you know? I don't know.
Yeah. Good one. I also think that, I don't know if you meant that, but obviously they need to use their YouTube channel way more. One, for this stuff, and also for like, why don't they make just general issues and queries that people have before signing up to SoRare? Why don't they make, yeah, as you said, educational videos, basically the stuff that us, the content creators, are making right now, answering questions like, I don't know, how to pay in with SoRare, how to withdraw money, I don't know, easy stuff, how to buy your first player. Why don't they make quick, easy educational YouTube videos? Hire someone for that and post those on their own YouTube as well. Why not? I think that's an easy one. That's not something that requires loads of money. It's easy and it's effective.
It's easy. My thing from SoRare's perspective is, though, I think they know that people are already doing that. And how much marketing do they get out of it? What they would get out of that is probably stealing the signups we get, do you know? So they would save themselves, but then maybe they would not is demotivate even a word? unincentivize people like us to go out and make tutorials. Because if I'm like, well, I'm never going to compete with the official SoRare's SEO.
Okay,
Do you
that's a
know,
good perspective that I haven't thought about. Okay, yeah, that's good.
if they come in and put that out there, it's like, how much marketing are they really getting? The people that find those videos want those videos. All they would be doing is stealing our 10% or whatever of the affiliate thing. So, but I get what you say. Like, that content should exist. It should exist, even if it's on site or wherever it is. And I mean, there's a million things they can do in marketing. Do you know, they can do really elaborate stuff. They can do more subtle stuff that's recurring sponsorships and whatever's. But I don't know. I just feel like there's no point in marketing a product that people either understand or don't understand, or is like taboo, or like NFTs. NFTs are a scam. Do you know? Try and educate, let people see what SoRare is really about, and let them see how accessible it is and how easy it is. If you can
Yeah,
incorporate those things into content that people want to watch anyway, so bring in your license and your access and whatever else. I don't know. That's what I would say. But again, I'm no marketing professional. But I suppose in a way we both do YouTube, and it's a lot of marketing. But
kind of, yeah.
let's see. Mark has another one, and it also got a few likes. Given how you're a HSV fan, which two clubs do you think will get promoted to the German top division? And out of those two clubs, are there any players us managers should keep an eye out for when auctions arrive next season?
Okay, I saw that one. Saw that one. Nice that someone is interested in Bundesliga too. Usually, no one gives
Yeah,
my club in Europe. Yeah, sadly, I'm a Hamburg supporter. We used to be big, but now we're second tier. So he asked about a few players that might get promoted, right?
yeah. He said if there's anyone on the teams that might get promoted that we should be
Mhm.
looking at for next season.
There is for sure. Depends on who gets promoted. Like if we get like, promotion race is pretty heated. So like there's like 6 teams that can still get promoted, and 2 or 3 will. I'm just saying if we get promoted, there is someone. He's called Mario Vuskovic. I'm not sure if you know him. Croatian,
No.
20-year-old center back. Yeah, probably no one knows him, but he's really a big thing. Croatian, 20-year-old center back. He came to us from the Croatian league on loan. Now we pulled the buy option. And yeah, he's really massive. I'm just not just saying this because I support the club, but yeah, I've actually barely ever seen a center back at his age being so calm with the ball and also so strong in the air. So I think if we get promoted, then he will obviously be in the Bundesliga. But even if not, sooner or later he's going to be a starter in top 5 league. So remember that name, Mario Vuskovic. Other than that, who will 100% got promoted probably is St. Pauli, our city rival, also from Hamburg, sadly. And they are ahead of us, and they have a player called Kieré. He's a central attacking midfielder. Plays also for the Ghana. He's from Ghana. He plays for the national team as well. He's very, very, very strong offensively. Created a lot. He's like 20 goals and assists in like 20 games this season. So he's very, very strong there. And great passing, great crossing. He always takes. He's like a Bruno Fernandes, I would say. Not that level, but he's a player
Yeah.
I could imagine in the Bundesliga as well. Very, very poor defensively, we have to say. But still, I think he's going to get in the Bundesliga sooner or later, and he's going to do well there. So this guy, Kieré, he's like Kyereh, Vuskovic, and then there is probably the most promising one. He's called Ko Itakura. I don't know. You might know him because
I've heard of that name.
he's on loan from Man City. He's a Man City player.
Mm.
Usually he's on loan at Schalke, who are also in Bundesliga too, and they might get promoted as well. Japanese center back. He also did well already in the J League before, but that was a few years ago. He's like 25 or something. Very, very versatile. He can also play as a defensive midfielder. Technically gifted, very, very quick for a center back. I think, yeah, only a matter of time until he plays in the Bundesliga as well. I think those 3 would be my picks. I think those could do very well if the clubs get promoted. Yeah, and if anyone wants to take a punt there, could be gems. But this might end up as bad advice as well, where someone in 1 year might pay this was a bad advice from Fiago. But
We can
yeah,
come back in 6 months and dig you out
yeah.
for it. Zico MC has asked a question. So did Jay Fraz. There's a load of them. Basically, I'm just letting you know, George as well. G Tovar 12. We answered lots of their questions already, which is great. Let me see. How was it to explore CR7's trophy room, aka the CR7 Museum in Madeira?
Oh yeah.
He's curious to see what you thought of the drive up to CD National Stadium as well. And I have another question which kind of ties into the vlogging side of things. Plastician wants to know what football stadium or team is top your list to visit.
My bucket list of football stadiums.
So
What?
yeah, the two questions is I kind of should have given them one at a time, but basically tell us about visiting the
Yeah, I got
CR7 one, and then also like where would you like to go? Where's your top of your list?
Okay. So yeah, Madeira was great, was amazing, really. Like I was just there with six homies, six lads, five lads and my girlfriend. Pretty wild trip. And yeah, weird combo. And
So no, I won't go there. I was going to make a
yeah,
crude
it
joke, but
sounds
let's
weird. I
just
know.
let's just.
Yeah, it was cool. And so yeah, we did visit the CS7 museum. Obviously, I'm big fan of CS7. It's like, yeah, you can imagine it's just a huge trophy room where obviously most of those trophies are replicas, but where he just showcases all his trophies, and it's just massive. It's like five
Mm,
euros. So best €5 I've ever spent. There was like signed jerseys or like match worn jerseys of the UCL final 2008 or against Chelsea there at Man
cool.
United. Big ones. Like, it was really great, but and yeah, the stadium, probably that guy was there as well, because I don't know if anyone else would know that. It's a very it's like a dangerous drive up to the stadium. You can
Oh
imagine
wow.
the stadium is like Funchal is the city where CSM comes from, the capital of Madeira, and it's like the stadium's up in the hills, like the hills are very high, and you drive up with your car. I thought our car was going to die, man. It's like streets are like that. Not even gonna lie,
Yeah, yeah.
it's absolutely crazy, man. I think we actually broke something in the car while driving up there or driving down. I don't know, and there's like old buses from the 1980s or 90s that drive up there as well. I have no idea how they do it.
Mm,
So if you ever want, it's a very exotic stadium. I can only recommend that, really, because once you're up there, you can have a view at the ocean, also at the mountains. It's sick. So that
sounds
also
unreal.
that also comes to the top list of stadiums. So that one is definitely a recommend. But if I have to say, like, did you say top three or something? I don't know. What I really want to visit is, yeah, depends on the game, actually. I do want to visit
Mm,
Anfield, because I don't know. Have
yeah.
you been there?
No, I'd love to go there.
Who do you support, by the way?
I'm a weirdo. I grew up a Man United supporter, but when I
Okay.
was probably, I'd say about 5 years ago, I realized that I care more about fantasy and games like SoRare that I couldn't truly call myself a Manchester United fan because I would cheer against them if it suited me. So I'm
Okay.
an absolute, I'm just honest. I mean, who do I
Yeah.
support? I support my
Cool.
SoRare cards. That's who I support.
Okay. Yeah. That's completely valid. So yeah, I don't know about Anfield, to be honest. That's like 50% of people that say, "Oh my god, best atmosphere, one of the best
Mm,
atmospheres in the world," and that's the other 50% that say like, "Oh, overrated as hell." So
yeah.
I just want to go get there and experience the cup myself. But something I really want to go is actually the old firm as well.
Mm,
I think that is a
nice, yeah.
proper atmosphere. Have you been to that one? I've been
I
to.
haven't. I've been to very few games. I've only really been to Old Trafford a few times, and then the vlogs I've been doing. I'm starting
Okay.
now. Like I'm
Same
starting
here, same
fresh.
here, actually. Haven't been to many games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a bucket list one for me. You've been to Camp Nou, right?
Yeah, it was great.
Was it
But I
good?
mean, I think you need to like El Clasico or a fixture that the stadium's full. You know, I went and they got beat 1-0 by Betis. So it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, I mean, it was
Mm,
still impressive, but it wasn't the same. Um, I think for me, I think more of the teams and the that than necessarily the grounds. So like I think Anfield would be amazing. I've Trent as well. I'd love to see Trent play in the flesh. And obviously all that goes on there, the songs. I'd love to go to Celtic. Celtic Park, I think it'll be amazing. I think I'd actually part of me really wants to go just as an experience to like a huge American stadium just to see how they do it. The big
it
Americans, you
it's
know,
it's gonna be a
the
cultural shock, I
it'd
guess,
be
for us
different.
Europeans.
I want to, yeah, the tailgating and all that. Even outside football, even if that had to be an NFL game or something,
Yeah.
just to go and see that, I think it'd be hilarious. And then maybe like I'd love to go to like the Milan derby, and the big one that I'd love to go to is Bayern and Dortmund. I'd love to go to Dortmund. I think,
Dortmund, yeah. Been there
yeah,
once, like, but it wasn't really the same. I was there in February, and it was only 10,000 fans allowed, so I wouldn't really call that being at
yeah, the true
Dortmund, because
experience.
yeah, if you wanna be there, it has to be 80,000 fans singing "You Never Walk Alone" as well. So I definitely want to
Yeah,
come back there. Now we have full stadiums in Germany again, like 5 months after everyone else, but at least we do have them now. I think they changed it last week, so
yeah,
might still get that this season. Let's see. But the American one is interesting. I think I've been to Toronto FC in Canada against Montreal in 2018,
Oh, cool.
which was MLS. I don't know if it's still different than in America in Canada, but it's already there. It was like I don't know what that was. It was like rather than it was a festival rather than a football game.
Mm,
Actually, there was like so many food trucks and those roller coasters and stuff around the stadium. I don't know what that was, but it was
yeah,
fun. It was a completely different one, but it was fun. So
that
maybe
sounds
at the
amazing.
World Cup 2026, I definitely want to go to the US as well and watch some games.
Cool. Yeah, there's lots. There's lots. We won't run out anytime soon anyway.
Yeah.
Um, in terms of, I'll do one more question and then I've something for you and we'll wrap up. So this one I can answer it straight off the bat, and if you have anything to add, do. I think it's an important one to answer. SoRare Sabi, when do you think the best time is for taking risk off from SoRare? I assume he means withdrawing. I'm struggling with a constant issue that I want to improve my team constantly. So if I make profit on a player, I buy a better one or a more expensive one. So no chance to take out profits. I
Mm.
only have 10 rare cards. This sounds to me, Sabi, to be quite honest with you, where you're stuck in a kind of dangerous cycle here where it sounded to me like you want to take money out, but you're not. So yeah, I think the best time is just now. If you are feeling overexposed, if you're feeling based on the platform that you're at too much of a risky position, I mean, cop on, man. Come on. You know what to do. Sell a player, suck it up, take the money out. It's obviously hard. You know, if you can afford to do it, it's always great making a bit of profit onto the next one. But the way you've worded this makes me think, you know, next time you sell one, just get it done and work from there. Um, yeah, slippy slope. Anything to add?
Yeah, I guess so rare, just like any other NFT games, I guess. Only put in money that you can afford to lose, so you
Mm,
can sleep at night.
yep. Yep. I'd say there's a large percentage of the platform that are guilty of breaking that rule. So yeah, really, really have a look at it. A question, I didn't prep you for this either, Fiago, but you have a job in your hands now. So every week to round up the show, we do the 137 game. We're basically,
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to pick two players playing this weekend in the upcoming game week. Now, it's actually a hard one for you because it's international. So, you know, much more risk of rotation. But if you go to the matches tab on SoRare, you'll be able to see what the teams are
Mhm.
playing. You have to pick two players. You don't have to own them this weekend that you think will combine for a total of 137 points. If you get
Okay.
between 136.5 to 137.4, you win a prize.
Okay, I didn't know about that game. Good one.
Yeah, I didn't brief you. While you're having a quick look, I'll tell everyone how Haber got on last week. He didn't do too bad. He didn't do amazing, but he didn't do the worst we've seen. He had Verratti, who got 62 points. He had Dimitri Payet, that got 53 points for a grand total of 115, which is nowhere near, but also nowhere near the worst score we've had. So well done, Haber. Have you had a chance to look? It's
Yeah,
tough. I
yeah.
mean, we're limited.
So we have we have the mostly it's international as you said. We have CONCACAF, we have South America has a game in Africa. So those are the
Mm,
World Cup qualification. Then we have the MLS and K League one game. Wow, that's a tough one actually. 137 points. Ah,
137. So there's a lot of strategies people have here. I'll not
yeah.
spoil it for you, but there's a lot of ways to look at this.
You can get it one. You can go for like one guy who you think will just start and get low
Mm,
40 points, and one guy who you think will just break like
bang it.
go very bang. Wow, that's a tough one. I don't even know who's injured right now. It's a really interesting one is actually for me. Egypt versus Senegal is going to be the revival of the AFCON final, and also Salah versus Mane again, and one of them goes to the World Cup, one doesn't. I think um I think I'm gonna pick Salah for this one.
Oh, baby. Okay, so Salah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh I'm like, how many points do I think he will score? And you have to do the math. Um, I think he will score. So I'm thinking like 70 points Salah.
Okay. So you need you need like another 70.
Yeah, I need another one who just gets a decisive or doesn't, but gets a good all rounder. Phew. How about how about I go Salah and Mane?
Oh.
That's
You
a risky
dog.
one, I guess. But maybe
I
both.
like it.
They are
Both of
both.
them looking to get like
Yeah,
decisive, but not really set the world on fire. I like it. Salah and
yeah.
Mane, the Liverpool duo.
That's
So
my pick.
Fiago, best of luck. You'll hear from me if you nail it. If you don't, you'll be lambasted on next week's podcast. But
Used to that.
it's been an absolute pleasure. I suppose everyone can find you on YouTube. Just look up Fiago. And on Instagram, is it footy.base?
Yeah. Sadly, Fiago's not available there.
You'll have to buy it whenever you're big and rich and famous. But yeah, look, is there anything else you want to plug before we shoot off?
I think it was super, super cool. First time for me on a SoRare podcast and the biggest one. So again, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. And
Yeah.
hope the community could enjoy it a little bit. Even though I don't know closely enough to about SoRare as you, but still.
Oh no, it's
Enjoyed
brilliant.
it.
It's great. It was great to get another perspective. Great to see your content. Long may it last. And look, thanks a million for your time.
Thanks, mate.
That's it for this week's episode of the podcast. It was great chatting to Fiago. Thanks a million to him for his time. Make sure you go over and subscribe to his YouTube, and you can find me if you look up John Nellis, and subscribe below to 1:37 p.m. where you can catch this podcast every single week. Like the video before you go, and we will chat to you soon. Thank you so much for watching.